So, my name is Al Cameron. I am the Director of Communication and Media Relations from Curling Canada, and it is really my pleasure on behalf of Curling Canada, as well as our partners at the World Curling Federation, to bring you to a great day for the sport of curling. If you are seeking permission to record, I am just shoot me a message on the chat board, and I will grant that permission where appropriate. And before we get started, we at Curling Canada and on behalf of the World Curling Federation would like to begin by acknowledging that the land on which we plan to gather is the traditional unceded territory of the Lheidli First Nation. Wow. So now to begin things, well, Kate Caithness was among the first to join us, and I know she really can't wait to tell you some really, really good news. So with no further ado, I'd like to introduce Kate Caithness, President of the World Curling Federation.
Thank you, Al. Now you have unmuted me, have you?
You are unmuted and ready to go.
Fine, thank you. So nice to see so many people. No, I have to say, last year, of course, was a big disappointment. 2020, of course, and Prince George, and the excitement we had, and looking forward to coming. And then, of course, last year it was just so disappointing for everyone. And so now, of course, next year, 2022, are we ever looking forward to coming to Prince George? This will be a first for me, and I know everyone's just excited as can be, especially the athletes, of course. And I really want to take this opportunity, Ala, and to thank you, the people who were involved in the last. I sadly wasn't going to the last one because of obviously what was going on. I was coming at a later time, but I understand from our staff and people on the ground who were there, an outstanding job that Prince George did to make sure our athletes, our staff, everyone got back home safely with this awful announcement that was made at such short notice. So a huge thank you on my behalf. But anyway, if I can officially now say, I would really like to say that I'm delighted to see the host committee of Prince George able to finally welcome the World Women's Curling Championships 2022 to their community following the disappointment of the 2020 cancellation. I know the local organising committee worked tirelessly to ensure the success of the 2020 edition, and I have every confidence that they will be equally prepared for next year's championship, where hopefully, if restrictions allow, we can get our fans back into the stadium. Also, I just say, before I just hand back to you, Al, I want to say too, I understand your local businesses were all, I wasn't there, and I know our media people and our staff who were there, so the local businesses have really rolled out the red carpet for everyone with welcome messages and flags, and I'm quite sure they'll be equally excited about us coming next year. I certainly am, and I look forward to meeting you all in person and not through this technology we've all had to get used to. So I think for me, Al, that's all I would like to say, but just to officially announce that we're delighted to come to 2022 to Prince George.
Thank you so much, Kate. And, on behalf of Curling Canada, our CEO, Catherine Henderson, will speak in a moment. But as one of the people who was on the ground in mid-March of 2020, I can attest to what you said, Kate. The city really rolled out the red carpet, and we really couldn't be happier to be going back there. If I can just take a moment to tell some of the people on the line about Kate Caithness, a few words about Kate, just how special she is for the sport of curling and how important she is for the sport of curling. Many, for instance, will be watching mixed doubles curling at the 2022 Winter Olympics. Without Kate Caithness, we wouldn't have been watching it so quickly. She twisted a lot of arms, shook a lot of hands at the IOC, and curling owes her and continues to owe her a great debt of gratitude for what she does for the sport does for the sport around the world. So a sincere thanks to you, Kate, as well as your partners at the World Curling Federation. So I am now going to introduce our Chief Executive Officer, Catherine Henderson, who I know shares Kate's excitement about today's announcement. Kathy?
Yeah, thanks very much, Al. And I am very truly happy to be representing Curling Canada, our Board of Governors, and our staff today on what is an exciting day for the sport of curling for obvious reasons. Nous savons tous ce qui s'est passé il y a 1 an et demi, et je sais après d'avoir parlé avec des gens qui se trouvent à la Prince George, le jeu de annulation, que ce fut une expérience dévastatrice. Donc le fait de pouvoir faire cette annonce aujourd'hui est vraiment l'un des moments les plus agréables depuis que je me suis joignée à Curling Canada. We all know what transpired a year and a half ago. And I know from speaking with people who were in Prince George, and I also want you to know, I was the one that, at Curling Canada, along with my colleagues at the World Curling Federation, we were so upset when we had to pull the plug on this. It was, well, we didn't, it's the public health did, but we had to really pivot from building something really amazing to keeping people healthy and getting them out and getting them back home safely. So it was not a great experience. So to be able to make today's announcement is really kind of one of the best moments that I've had since I've joined Curling Canada. There's so many people who worked hard to make today's announcement possible, but it really starts with our partnership with the World Curling Federation, whose stewardship and leadership for our sport always take curling to new levels around the world. And I think Al Cameron said some pretty wonderful things about our friend Kate Caithness. Kate, on behalf of Curling Canada, thank you for your continued faith in our organization to hold these events in Canada. We can't tell you how much we appreciate it. The City of Prince George made it crystal clear to us very early that it did not want to wait for the opportunity to actually host the Women's World Championship. The support and the dedication of Mayor Lynn Hall and the council, as well as Tourism Prince George, couldn't have been more profound, and we were thrilled to be able to make this happen for the great people in the region. Thank you to Acting Mayor Frank Everett, who's with us today with a number of other officials from the city and Tourism Prince George. But it wasn't just City Council that wanted to welcome the world back to Prince George. I know the Lheidli T'enneh First Nation, as well as your local elected representatives for both the federal and provincial governments, were also on board. So thank you to Lheidli T'enneh, Chief Darlene Logan, as well as Caribou Prince George MP Todd Doherty, and MLAs Shirley Bond of Prince George Valemount and Mike Morris of Prince George Mackenzie, as well as our partners at the Government of Canada and the Government of British Columbia. We are also fortunate at Curling Canada that we have the opportunity to work with our wonderful member associations across the country to continue building our sport for everyone to enjoy. I'd like to thank Curl BC CEO and Executive Director Scott Braley for his valuable contributions in making today's announcement possible. Scott, we know the BC fans will be loud and proud cheering for Team Canada next March. And to our local host committee headed by Vice Chairs Jen Rubidoux, Michelle Dibble, and Shelley Rennick, you've already put in the long hours to make today happen. We know the next 8 months will be busy as well, but we promise to do everything that we can to make them rewarding as well. We look forward to working with you to make the event successful on and off the ice. So thank you, merci tout le monde. Thank you for joining us today, and we will see you next March in Prince George.
Many thanks, Kathy. One of the exciting things about coming back to Prince George is being able to go into that CN Center. You folks in Prince George know what a great facility it is. We got to see it with curling ice for a couple days anyways, obviously in March of 2020, but just a superb facility that we look forward to being back in. And one of the things about hosting events such as this is that the people who are in there normally have to make room for us. And I'm just going to say a sincere thanks to the Prince George Cougars. Mid to late March, that's a tough time of year to ask a team to leave the building. And we really appreciate the fact that the Cougars are making room for us and allowing us to take over their building for a few days. And I'd like to express my thanks to Andy Beasley, who is the Vice President of Business for the Prince George Cougars, who is with us today. Our sincere thanks to the Cougars. We mentioned just the support from the city and as well as the local region. And I'm going to ask my colleague Andrew Denny to play a recording from Darlene Logan, the chief of the Lheidli T'enneh First Nation.
Hello everyone. I'm honored to be part of this extra special announcement. I'm Chief Darlene Logan. I'm with you virtually on behalf of Lheidli T'enneh members, Chief and Council, and our administration. What a year 2022 is going to be for Prince George and everyone living in our territory. We just recently celebrated the one-year countdown to the Prince George hosting the 2022 Summer Games. And now we learn that the 2022 Women's World Curling Championships will take place early next year. We all recall the disappointment we all felt when they canceled due to the COVID-19 pandemic. Today's announcement should make up for that, and the Lheidli T'enneh Nation will be ready to welcome the world to our unceded ancestral lands and cheer on our curlers. Masi.
Our thanks to Chief Logan, who couldn't be with us today. They're attending meetings this week, I believe. The city of Prince George, as I mentioned, just a real cheerleader to get this event. And they made it clear right away in the days after the cancellation of 2020 that they didn't want to wait around. They wanted this event right back. And to speak on behalf of the city of Prince George, I'd like to introduce Acting Mayor Frank Everett. Frank?
Frank, I think you're on mute.
Does that work?
Thumbs up, Frank.
I just want to acknowledge that I am on the territory of the Lheidli T'enneh in our city, and on behalf of Mayor Hall and the entire City Council, want to welcome the World Federation Curling to Prince George again. We were deeply saddened in 2020 when we had to cancel the thing. It was the first one within the province that got the order to cancel, and so we followed through with that. But it was a disappointment to all the fans and the people that had set up to be the driving force on the ground for the curling championships. It's another opportunity for Prince George to welcome the world to our stage in Prince George, and we certainly appreciate that. We had the opportunity to do the trials in 2000 for the women's, and Kelly Law won for BC, so we're super proud of that. And prior to that, we were able to hold the juniors and seniors and the mixed turns in 61, 79, and 87. And it's just another opportunity for us to showcase our city, and I'm so proud to be a part of that on behalf of the Mayor Hall and the entire council. Look forward to all of the volunteers that I know will come forward to make the games a success. Thank you.
Many thanks, Frank. You know, we talked about some of the rich history of curling in Prince George, and that you mentioned the 2000 Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Of course, the 2009 pre-trials were in Prince George as well, and that led to the trials in Edmonton that year. And I'll note, of course, that the 2015 Canada Winter Games, and there were some notable curlers in that field as well, including, by the way, Tyler Tardy, who went on to win a couple of World Junior Championships, and Mary Fay, who was one of the young and rising stars in Canada as well. So Prince George has certainly put on some first-class curling events, and no reason to believe that won't happen again in 2022. Tourism Prince George, I can't say enough about these folks, how eager they were to make this happen again as well. They, along with the city, were right, they were on us, let's just put it that way, on the phone and through emails, and we couldn't be happier to be back and cooperating with them. And to speak on behalf of Tourism Prince George, I'd like to introduce their CEO, Colin Carson. Colin?
Yeah, thanks, Al. Appreciate it. First, I'd just like to acknowledge also that I'm currently on the unceded traditional territory of the Lheidli T'enneh First Nation. So Tourism Prince George is extremely excited to welcome back the World Curling Federation and Curling Canada to Prince George. The tourism industry as a whole has been devastated by the COVID-19 pandemic. Welcoming events back, and especially these international events, is one of the final steps in recovery. The World Women's Curling Championship will bring approximately 3,400 hotel room nights and athletes, broadcasters, and staff alone. And not only will this event be a draw for spectators in Prince George and Northern BC, but we do expect to see fans traveling from all over Canada, and again, permitting hopefully other countries to attend this World Championship event. So again, just want to say we're really excited to have the World Women's Curling Championship as the first major sport event back in Prince George. And we really do look forward to welcoming the world once again.
Many thanks, Colin. If I can just say, your background game is on point, and if you can guarantee that kind of sunset for when we're there, I will.
There might be some ice on the lake still in March. But,
well, we might have to have a draw on that lake as opposed to inside the Coliseum. That's pretty special. Kathy mentioned our partners at Curl BC, who always step up when it comes to welcoming world-class and national level championships to their province. And to speak on behalf of Curl BC, I'd like to introduce CEO and Executive Director, Scott Braley. Scott?
Thanks very much, Al. Al always puts me near the end, so I have to think of something new to say here, but I just really pleased to be here on behalf of the Curl BC board and staff. And these are certainly happy days. We've turned a corner on COVID-19. almost all the province has been vaccinated, and at long last, Prince George is going to host the Women's World Curling Championship. Despite the hurdles we faced in getting back here, the professionalism of events like this make it easy to forget that they only happen through the tireless work by many organizations and individuals, such as the volunteers at the Prince George Golf and Curling Club. Much gratitude is due to Curling Canada, which has been instrumental in both the return to curling as well as the Herculean task of organizing and bringing this championship back to the Northern Capital. Thanks are also due to the World Curling Federation, along with 14 of its member nations who will be competing here. We're delighted to have you back. Finally, I would like to thank our federal and provincial governments who made it a priority to help all of us keep going over the past 18 months. We wouldn't probably still be here without them. So thanks very much to both the Canadian and BC governments. Despite the disappointment of 2 years ago, today we are incredibly fortunate. We have top-notch curling, the wonderful people and natural beauty of Prince George, and the warm camaraderie of a sport we love. BC looks forward to hosting everyone next year.
See, Scott, I knew you could do it. Always coming through in the clutch, Mr. Scott Braley, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, the excitement that we're feeling about getting back to Prince George, and you know what? I have talked to a lot of members of the host committee and the people that are on the ground in Prince George already. I know they're ready to get to work. They've already put in a lot of hours to make today happen. And I know they're ready to go to work just based on the attitudes and comments that I've been hearing. So to wrap, I'd like to introduce our the vice chair of the Prince George Host Committee, Jen Rubidoux. Jen.
Thank you, Al. Shelley Rennick, Michelle Dybel, and I are grateful to be here today and would firstly like to acknowledge that we are honored to live, work, and play on the traditional territory of the Lheidli-T'enneh. As mentioned in March 2020, thanks to the hundreds of volunteers and staff, Prince George was poised to host the 2020 Women's World Curling Championships. The ice was in, the stage was set, the cameras were in position, and the centerpieces were being placed. We were mere hours away from the opening ceremony when the pandemic brought the event and the world to a halt. On behalf of the local host committee, we are thrilled with the announcement that Prince George will have its opportunity to finish what it started and host this world-class event. We look forward to showcasing our community and hospitality to the world in March 2022. We would like to thank the World Curling Federation and Curling Canada for seeing what Prince George has to offer and for choosing us again. We are looking forward to working with the countless dedicated volunteers, community members, and staff once again to transform the CN Center and Kin Center into a 9-day curling celebration that the entire community and world will enjoy. Thank you.
Many thanks, Jen, and you've assembled a great team there already. And I know the team is going to be built out as time goes on. Just a few housekeeping items that I know people will want to know. First of all, ticket sales. Ticket launches will be coming up in the next few weeks. You can be looking out for those. We'll be sending out news releases to the Prince George media detailing how and when tickets will go on sale. And volunteers, that's been touched on as well. There will be announcements as the host committee looks to fill out the volunteer positions for the Women's World Championship. So keep checking the event website, which is being launched today. You can find a link to it on curling.ca. So that just about wraps up the formal portion of today's announcement. Now, to the assembled media, all of the people who spoke today are available to answer questions. My counterpart, Chris Hamilton, is also on the line. All you have to do, if you have any questions, down at the bottom of your Zoom screen, there's the reactions button, and right there underneath all the various reactions, thumbs up, applause, all that, there is an icon that says raise hand. So if you've got a question to ask to any of our speakers today, just go ahead and raise your hand and I'll introduce you for a question. And if you don't have that raise hand, just shoot me a message in the chat window as well. So open to questions now to the media on the line. And this is not an indefinite window. So if you media do have questions, I'm looking at you, Ethan Reddy. You were one of the first to send us questions. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask. But all right, well, it appears that we will go without questions, and that's not a terrible thing either. It looks like we answered them all in our speeches. So well done, everyone. So again, our sincere thanks to everyone who participated today. Just a really, really exciting day. Kate, it looks like you have something to say.
Before you wrap up, I would have said a lot more, and I liked listening to what everyone had to say, and I'm truly looking forward to. One thing I omitted to say is, and really, we couldn't do any of this without our friends at Curling Canada. So I should have said that in our introduction. And of course, we're so much looking forward to Jen and your team, women. Oh, this is great. I'll tell you, we're gender equality. I think we're in good place at this moment in time. But no, but seriously, no. We couldn't have done any of what we're doing and what we've gone through in the past more than 18 months now without our friends in Curling Canada. So a huge thank you. I've said it so often, but I'll keep saying it, Kathy, and I'm sure you'll be always happy to hear me saying this, that we're such great friends, Curling Canada and World Curling Federation. We're certainly really looking forward to coming to Prince George. And if this background you have of this sunset, I'm on the next plane. I'm not waiting till next year. As soon as they live, my son, I should tell you, lives in San Diego, and I haven't seen him since last December. So last night, of course, the restrictions were lifted that the UK were allowing the US citizens to come to Scotland or the UK. And he was on the phone last night, so his flight's booked. And I just can't wait till we're allowed it's reciprocated. And especially in your part of the world, I'm just desperate to get back out to see everyone. So I certainly look forward to meeting you all in person and having a chat, a chinwag, and certainly thank you again and for all you did last year. And I know next year is going to be something really, really special. So on behalf of my board and everybody and the curling family, for real, thank you very much, and I look forward to seeing you all next year.
Many thanks, Kate. So again, that wraps up anything. If any of you have any questions, feel free to email either myself or Chris Hamilton at media@worldcurling.org. If you have any questions further to this event, you have the dates. The release has been sent out, and it can be found on worldcurling.org as well as curling.ca with all of the information. And again, my sincere thanks to all of you. Have a great long weekend to all of you here in British Columbia. And thanks again to everyone.
Okay, take care. Bye-bye.